Hi. It is time to talk about the Seeking Sister Wife season finale. And I am getting really tired of TLC with this whole not saying when it's the season finale. That would be super helpful. So if y'all are out there, TLC, could you please let people know when shows are going to end? That'd be fabulous. Thank you very much. Other than that, it's just been a weird day. So let's hop into it. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Cozy. I like to snark about sister wife related reality television shows here on YouTube. I do like to remind you these videos are for entertainment purposes only. These are not facts. They're just opinions about public figures sharing their lives publicly. So if we're cool, we're cool. This is my co-host, Graham. You can kind of see him. My giant puppy. He is hopefully going to be a good boy and try not to bounce around too much and act like too much of a fool while we're doing this. So, it's been a weird day, kind of a down day. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been thinking a lot about the whole stuff with the brain surgery and everything. And so just to keep my mind off of it, I've been working on the temperature blanket. Here she is in all of her glory so far. This is I'm on the last week of April right now. I maybe got a little far behind, but I'm excited because I'm going to get to add the color for 80 degrees here at the end of April. So I'm hoping to get a few more rows done tonight so I can lay it out on the bed and get some pictures of it because it is huge. It fits my king size bed. So anyway, let's jump in with Seeking Sister Wife because that's what you're here for, not to hear me ramble on about these things. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently, mostly because we've already kind of said goodbye to Naeem and Nyla and Ashley and Shane. So I'm going to go through and give you the closing of their stories first, and then we'll talk about the families that actually had stories on this show. So the final nod to the Salahudin family. They have a new woman in their life named Ebony, and they are going to be meeting her in person soon as of the time that was filmed. And while things with Nyla and Jamila still are bad, they're still pretty tense, it does say that they're holding out hope that she will accept their decision. That's not going to happen, but okay. Hold out all of the hope that you can. And then the Sherwood family. They're no longer in contact with Sarah, which we knew, obviously. Why would they be? They broke up. And they've been stood up and catfished multiple times while seeking. That's sad. I'm sorry. Catfishing is never good. I don't believe in catfishing. I don't think it's acceptable. If people don't like you for what you look like and who you are, why would you want to be around those people anyway? It's kind of a duh. Just saying. But they are remaining optimistic that they're going to find the perfect sister wife for Ashley. So we'll see. The other families, I just kind of added in their little blurbs at the end of their sections because you know how we do it here. We go section by section by section, or family by family by family instead of in chronological order. So let's jump in with the Ryans. Justin is getting back from his date. And if you'll recall, he went on a date with Yari in the last episode. And Yari said, I want a husband just for me. I don't really want to share. I don't really want to do that kind of thing. And Justin goes to Becky, and Becky wants to know how things went. She's cleaning up the kitchen, and he's like, hey, let's go sit down and talk. So you know Becky knows. It didn't. Something ain't right. Something's not right. Something's not good. So you can see Becky's eyes when she's knows something is up. So she immediately asks, did you talk about anything important? And he's like, listen, I did push for answers. I tried to get her to open up about what she was thinking, how she was feeling, yada, 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 because we've been going out for several months now. So at least we have a little bit of a better timeline of how long they've been together. It's been several months, because last time I speculated, was this days after the first date, or what was going on? And Justin's like, things are super slow, which he claims he's cool with, because after the last round, he's just not sure how quick he wants to move. And he's telling us, we had lightning in a bottle with Stephanie, and we thought we would be doing the rest of our lives together. It was a done deal. And Yari is way different. They're trying to take it slow to decide, does she want to leave regular, normal people life, as he puts it, for polygamy? What? So Justin says that Yari didn't say this, but he felt like she wanted to say she wanted a man all to herself. She did say that. She actually said those exact words. I want a husband all for myself. Just for me. why are you telling Becky she didn't say it, but she did say it? And then Becky's like, so she didn't say it, or she did say it? And Justin's like, well, yeah. I get it. You're trying to cushion some sort of blow for Becky, but you need to be honest. Because I'm starting to wonder if there was some backroom dealing with Stephanie that maybe wasn't completely honest to Becky if you're not being completely honest with her about Yari. Just saying. That makes me think, it is my opinion and speculation that just maybe. So he says Yari wants a husband that's just for her. And so we get to Becky, and you can tell she is upset before she even says the first word. But the way she spits out, Yari said, okay, I get it. She's like, maybe Yari's just not in the right relationship. And she thinks, she's like, what's the point in keeping this going if she doesn't want a sister wife? Like, what is the point? Does she think something's going to change? And Justin doesn't even get a chance to answer because Becky just keeps going. Is this just a general, I want a man for myself and I'm just not sure about this? Or is this, I want Justin specifically to myself? And she postulates maybe Yari's holding out, hoping that Becky and Justin are just going to fall apart. Something will happen and Yari's going to snatch him right up for herself. And Justin's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't think that she wants to take me from you. And Becky's like, what did she say about potentially joining the family? And she's like confident. She goes, I know Yari's not going to steal you from me. That is not a possibility. And Becky keeps pushing, asking if he thinks that Yari's trying to get Justin to choose her. She just wants, I think, a little bit of confirmation that things are okay. And she's like, everybody is wasting each other's time if she doesn't want sister wives. Because if that's the case, if she is just holding out hope that you're going to leave me for her, it's never going to happen. So we're just wasting time. So Becky says she feels like they're on a plateau. And she isn't sure because is it just that Yari wants to go slow? Does she just want Justin? You guys are going back and forth, worrying about this. She said what she said. It should be over. It just should be. But Justin's like, well, obviously she likes me and she likes you, but she's never heard of polygamy, so she just isn't sure. And Becky's like, well, maybe she just needs more time with us to see how it could be. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my Lord. Guys, come on. She's like, hey, if we meet somebody in the meantime, we'll just focus on them. If only she knew that Yari's biggest complaint was that Justin doesn't focus on her enough. So this is definitely over without saying it's over, but whatever. So Becky says her relationship with Yari compared to Stephanie is just not a comparison. Stephanie and Becky would talk like every day. They would make plans together. They would try to figure out when they were going to see each other. And Yari will go days without talking to her. So Becky doesn't even know if it's a good fit. Why are we doing this? I would say, you guys cannot be this clueless. There is no possible way you've made it to this late in life without the common sense that God gave a rock. And I am not trying to be mean, but you guys are so overly optimistic about every little thing, or at least Becky is, and Justin is just getting what he can get from it. I don't know, but how do you get through the day? Such a Pollyanna. I don't understand. Justin, of course, sees Yari as a potential because she's beautiful. And that's really what it boils down to entirely. He is attracted to her, so she's a good fit, even if she isn't a good fit. And Becky says that they're still looking for the perfect sister wife, the one who wants this whole family experience. So to close them out, we see Becky and Justin at the beach with Yari. I'm assuming on that trip to Florida, whom they are still dating despite a lack of commitment. And the tag that they put at the end says Yari is happy to have Becky tag along some of the time. Okay. I guess just do what you're going to do. I can't. I'm not going to lie. This segment, this whole thing with the Ryan family has just put such a weird feeling in my soul. I know it's because there are things that I go through behind the scenes that I don't talk about on here because, number one, it's my business and I want to handle it before I talk about it. And number two, I don't want to sit here and be a crybaby on the internet. But like the idea that they're going to continue dating Yari even though she doesn't really want a sister wife is just so far beyond anything I can comprehend. So we're going to go head over to the Davis family. And there is such dramatic music to open this up for the Davis family. especially since they're showing us a teeny tiny little sweet trash panda just eating stuff out of the trash. It's beautiful. I love raccoons. So what did he do to deserve the aggressive musical tones? Come on. Obviously, it's nothing, because it's really about Nick trying to talk to Danielle. So we get the question repeated about how is Danielle? What is she thinking? And he really wants to know, are you actually okay with this sleepover? Danielle says she thinks that Jasmine meshes well with them and things are going well. But Nick calls her out immediately. And he says, listen, I thought things were going good before, and you left. So he's worried about getting excited about Jasmine, because is Danielle sure she's had enough time to consider what she really wanted? And she says for how things are going, she's doing pretty well. Nick is obviously frustrated because he can tell Danielle's not actually answering his question, and he breaks it down. He isn't talking about Jasmine. He is talking about Danielle. How is Danielle doing? What does Danielle think? He wants her to be honest, and he's giving her this space to be truthful. And he asks, do you really think you could see yourself marrying her? And Danielle is just struggling to get the words out. You can hear it. And he reminds her, I'm not proposing to her anytime soon. I just want you to think about the considerations that need to be made. This actually, for as much flack as I give Nick for some of the things he does, he is actually, being, of all the men that we've seen on this show, I think the most willing to listen to the women in his life. Like, Garrett does not listen to Danielle. I don't feel like Shane and Ashley communicate very well. Nyla and Naeem, I think, try to communicate well, but I definitely think that there's a barrier there. I can't figure it out. Maybe if we see them another season, but there's definitely something, because Nyla definitely wants things that Naeem doesn't seem to be as interested in. The Ryan family, frankly, I think Becky wants things that Justin wants, but in a way different fashion. Cody Brown does not listen to the women in his lives, other than Robin, very well at all, from what we see. Even on My Five Wives, there are just too many voices. You can't get somebody to listen to you, and Nick is at least making the attempt. And you know what? I have to give him credit, as little as it is, for making the attempt to listen. Danielle finally breaks down, though, and is like, I get along with Jasmine, but I'm nervous. She's used to having the power to say, this is what Danielle wants, this is what Danielle doesn't want. And she's like, I'm curious to see how things are going to go, so I'm feeling pretty good. I think the unhinged smiling like the Joker sort of gives away this internal struggle a little bit. But Nick says that enough said, that's all he needed to establish. And he's like, this is a unique relationship, and it's his job to navigate it. And then Danielle's like, or he says he thinks that Danielle realized that when she left, that she could leave. And if she wanted to stay away, she could have stayed away, but she didn't want to stay away, so she came back. And that's really something that they're all sort of still muddling through. Danielle's like, it is challenging to be the one who's like, hey, I'm not feeling this. She knows she's compromising her own wants and desires when she needs to put her foot down, but that's really hard to do. There are so many voices, and how are you going to put your foot down all of the time? And she should put her foot down. I know I can be a go along to get along kind of gal. You know, you do what you want to do, what a group wants to do to appease the group occasionally, because you don't want to spoil certain things for others. But if you can't put your foot down with the people who supposedly love you, that's unhealthy. If they love you, they're going to understand when you put your foot down and say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Danielle needs to have the space to express what she's feeling, even if it upsets Jennifer and April. Because Nick actually seems kind of content either way. He gives us the impression that he can date now, he can wait a little while, it's sort of fine. It seems to really be April and Jennifer that have this drive to keep moving forward. And I wonder if it's like some sort of power dynamic that they feel like they have over Danielle, and maybe wanting to get her locked down into a legal marriage so that it'll keep her there. I really don't know. I'm not accusing them. I'm just speculating about why it feels like those two are more interested in finding a sister wife than even Nick seems to be. So they head downstairs, and April starts getting the excess pillows off the bed. And I am not a decorative pillow kind of girl when it comes to my bedding. I want exactly zero impediment to getting into my bed at the end of a long day. But also, functionality is important to me. I don't understand the purpose of a decorative pillow. Like, it's uncomfy. You can't put your face on it. Why do you need it? So if you have decorative pillows on your bed, more power to you, but I don't get it. April begins tossing the pillows, so it becomes some sort of like pillow fight. Um, and they have mapped it out so that there is enough room for everybody. And Jennifer is kind of giving the direction. Nick, you're going to go dead center. I don't understand. I'm going to be honest. I have OCD, right? I do. I have OCD. It affects very specific things in my life. Like hand washing. I have to wash my hands 3 times. It's a thing. Anyway. So when they go and they're like, yeah, we just sort of sleep wherever. I'm like, how do you not have a side of the bed? It's insane. I can't. I am a left side of the bed. That is mine. I get the left side of the bed. I had the left side of the bed before when I would sleep alone. I always slept on the left side. I was never like a middle sleeper. It is my side. That's always been my side. Please don't be on my side. But the idea of a bed free for all is just like, how do you know where to put your stuff? Like, what? But if you put your stuff on the left side and then you get into the right, then your stuff is, okay. I'm thinking too deeply about it and it's freaking me out. Danielle says that she does like Jasmine and she's glad she agreed to a sleepover, but there's definitely been some jealousy. She doesn't know how it's going to look with Jasmine. So as they get into bed, we're seeing it's April's on the far left, and then Danielle, and then Nick, and then Jasmine, and then Jennifer. And so Nick's handing out his goodnight kisses. April's like, the 2 factors of this sleepover date are, number 1, how comfortable Jasmine is with it, and number 2, how comfortable Danielle is with it. And April isn't sure that Jasmine is actually going to be comfortable staying in the bed with them all night. She seemed plenty comfy in that picture y'all shared back in 2021, so maybe she's good. But April says her biggest worry is Danielle having repeat behavior. I am sorry, do not speak about your sister wife like she is a toddler. You keep saying that you're worried that Danielle won't speak up or that she's going to leave and that would be devastating, but you seem to be doing everything you can to hold her back from being able to speak out, and I'm not a fan, because every time I see her speak out, you make a face. So don't talk about her like she's a toddler. It is morning time and Jasmine's waking up while everyone else is still asleep, and she's trying to like sneak her way out of bed. With decent success, actually. She managed to like slither out the bottom. Danielle's already up making coffee, and so she's like, how'd you sleep, Danielle? And she's like, oh, I slept well. But to us, Danielle expresses she's glad they tried this out, but can they actually do this every night? She's not sure about it. Jasmine also slept well, and she's like, hey, I know it was probably weird with all of us in the bed, but Jasmine's pretty chill about it, actually. She's like, yeah, no big deal. She tells us that she thinks it went pretty well. It was nice. It was quiet. It was great to have other people around while she slept. And Danielle suggests they go outside to sit down, have their coffee. And she is excited that she and Jasmine were the first ones up because she really kind of wanted to have some one-on-one time to talk to her. Because being the last wife of the family and Jasmine being her potential legal wife, she wants to have this one-on-one space to open up, just kind of get to know each other, feel it out, see if they have a connection. They spend a lot of time as a group while dating, but she needs to know when it's just them that she and her potential wife, that it's good. It's not led by anyone else. It doesn't feel weird or wrong. So Danielle starts off asking, how are things going after spending some time with us? How about your date with Nick? You know, those kinds of things. And Jasmine's like, I don't see any problems currently. And that makes Danielle smile. And she says, they're just getting to know each other. There isn't really going to be much that can go wrong yet. And Danielle's like, I know this is crazy to bring up already, but as things progress, we're going to want you and your son to move in. So how would you feel about that? And Jasmine's like, yeah, the thought of that doesn't bother me. Thinking about the future is okay. Talking about the future is okay. I'm good with that. She wants to take things slow, but she's chill talking about what could be. So she's just not ready to act on it like immediately. She doesn't want to jump in there and just get married tomorrow. So Danielle's like, look, there's a lot of excitement to look forward to, but she has to kind of address there are difficulties being a sister wife. Danielle is not going to sugarcoat it. She's struggled quite a bit. She'd always been monogamous up until this point, and so she wants Jasmine to know that, listen, you can vocalize the things that you're feeling and thinking. That is definitely ironic coming from Danielle, who continues to tell us that she can't verbalize the things she's thinking and feeling. And so Danielle's like, I wish I had spoken up before, and you can hear in her voice the like anxiety and the nerves just building. Like she's speaking faster. Whew. Goodness gracious. She's speaking faster in a different tone. Like she's getting, whatever. And she admits, listen, there was a point I moved out, and Jasmine's like, whoa, I didn't know you moved out. I'm so sorry. That's crazy. Danielle's like, we've worked on it. Things have been tough. This is a big first step, them getting back into dating. And Jasmine's like, it's really brave of Danielle to open up to me, but I think it'll be different for me. I don't really get those jealous feelings. I don't really have, I'm more secure. Danielle says to Jasmine, listen, I want to be transparent and not sit here and act like everything is just pies and cherries and bunnies and butterflies. Our dynamic's great. We get along really well. We're a lot of fun, but with that fun comes a lot of work. And Danielle's like, I feel like Jasmine just wasn't engaging with what I was saying. Maybe she was just sitting listening, trying to hear me and understand, but she just doesn't know if Jasmine's really getting what she's trying to explain to her. And not everything is in place like it needs to be. Nothing bad happened, but she's just not willing to let somebody slip in that isn't supposed to be there. Because marriage is a true commitment, and she's not sure at this time if Jasmine actually is their potential sister wife. But everybody else wakes up, comes to join the conversation, and it's Nick first, followed by Jennifer and April with baby Vera. And that baby is so stinking cute. I just want to pinch her cheeks. She's so cute. Nick's like, waking up with Jasmine in the house felt natural. April was happy that Jasmine was comfortable to stay all night with them in that one bed. And Nick has this giant grin on his face saying 4 women in the bed was new for him and it was a lot of fun. Bro, you were asleep. Also, 5 people in a bed all at the same time. Oh, I couldn't do it. Number one, you're going to get way too warm. I'm so sorry, folks. There is not enough air conditioning in the world. I am talking so fast that, I'm having trouble catching my breath. Jeez, oh, Pete. So most of the rest of the conversation is, how did you sleep? How did you sleep? How did you sleep? Oh, my word. But Jasmine's like, listen, I didn't knee anybody. Nobody took an elbow to the face. I didn't steal the covers. We're doing pretty good here. And April's like, I didn't feel you get up. And so Jasmine demonstrates how she slithered out of the covers. And April's like, I'm in the middle sometimes, but I've never tried to just slither my way on out. But everyone agrees that the night was a lot of fun. Jennifer thinks that Jasmine keeps them on their toes, and that is a good thing. She says there's definitely been some awkward moments, but she's a lot of fun. And she wants to see how things are going to go with them. And Nick says he's definitely interested in Jasmine. She's interesting. Jasmine's like, my next step are an information gathering process. She wants to spend time individually and as a group and get very nosy, get very in the weeds, trying to sense out who everybody is and how their dynamics interact. So Nick's like, I'd like to pursue a relationship with Jasmine further. But he counts on his wives to see the things that he misses. He could be blinded by beauty and miss something completely important. So he says there's an aspect of slight disappointment if they don't move forward, but they're going to need a family meeting to compare notes and see what everyone's thinking. So they have that family meeting. They all get dressed up for their dinner together, and they've ordered in what appears to be Olive Garden, because I see that breadstick, and I love those breadsticks, and I can no longer have those breadsticks. Soy. And so I'm going to have to learn how to make those breadsticks. My whole life has just become learning how to make things. So Nick shares with us that they've had a few days to process the sleepover, and he'd like to see how everyone's feeling. Danielle's like, I hope we are all on the same page with this decision together, but she's not sure. She's not sure if everybody's going to agree. So we see them bow their heads over dinner, which I think is kind of weird because Nick made it very clear at his date with Jasmine that they didn't seem to have any type of religious leanings. So I'm not sure what they're doing. But April kicks things off from saying, hey, I heard from Jasmine a little bit. And I think it's time that we decide if we're open to seeing Jasmine again and pursuing this. And Jennifer's like, I feel an openness with Jasmine that with our type of relationship that's really hard to come by. Not many people are super open to this. And she feels like Jasmine has a lot of characteristics that could really work. Danielle's like, for me, the way that Jasmine is with us, I admire her for that. She's bold, she's outgoing. Nothing went wrong, but nothing went right enough. She says that Jasmine's a really cool chick, and she likes her, but she wants to be head over heels for the woman that she is going to marry. Just like she is for her sister wives, and she isn't. She doesn't know if moving forward is really the best idea right now. April's face looks unhappy when she says this, and Nick is definitely upset too. And Danielle's like, it is hard for me to speak up. I know I need to, though. This is the time. And so she's like, I can't keep putting everything in this little box. And April's like, you know what? I get it. I get it. And honestly, Danielle, I'm kind of feeling a little reserved with her as well. Or maybe I'm feeling Jasmine's reservations. Maybe, I'm not sure. But at the same time, she really likes hearing Danielle express herself and actually say her honest truth. Nick's like, I'm a little disappointed to hear it. He's not going to lie. He was hoping they would move forward because he really thought that she would be an interesting person to get to know romantically. He goes on to say that this is an instance where he has to accept the structure that they've created himself. It isn't his desire to have an individual hear and override everyone else's feelings. So April's like, all right, do you think we should move forward? Maybe we should. And Danielle backs up and she's like, whoa, I'm kind of questioning how I'm feeling now when she hears him say that. She's like, maybe it's just that, there's not an immediate connection there. Maybe I have to work for it. And Nick's like, whoa, I didn't have to work for a connection with you. And April agrees. I didn't have to either. It was just natural. Things came together and it flowed. I seem to remember from that season it not being exactly that way, but all right. So, on that note, April says, are we dating Jasmine or not? April says no, as does Jenny. And Nick says, I was dating Jasmine. It sucks it didn't work out, but he liked seeing Danielle being confident and standing apart with how she's feeling, even if April and Jennifer feel differently. Danielle's like, I'm grateful for Jasmine because there was a lot of growth in this. It was really freaking hard. She said a few months ago, they were struggle busing. And Jennifer's like, are we going to keep seeking? And Danielle's like, yeah, whoever's meant for us is still out there. And we have to keep pushing forward to find them. April's like, now seeing that you're actually comfortable, maybe we try again with someone or a couple different someones. Might be beneficial. She says, let's date and just get out there, meet people, date a couple people. And Nick's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but, I'm kind of intrigued. He is disappointed about not dating Jasmine, though. So he says it's been a lot with, Danielle leaving and coming back and meeting someone and it not working out and now talking about another potential wife. It's been a journey. And April's like, we ended this year a lot stronger than we started. And she is just happy to see how Danielle has grown, that Nick is truly putting things into the hands of his wives for them to add another wife. And she just begins crying and she calls herself a crybaby. She's like, I just love what we have and I'm just so thankful for it. And they all hug and Nick smiles, this big cheesy smile into the camera like he's the king. So we find out at the end the Davises are dating a new special woman, as it says, and Danielle is actually happy she chose to stay. She is cautiously optimistic about this new woman being her wife one day, so we'll see how that plays out. The Merrifields. Nothing I am about to say here matters at all based off of the end card that we get for the Merrifields. So if you're not watching the episode, just know I am about to tell you probably 8 to 10 minutes worth of rambling that you are going to completely erase from your mind when I say the end of this. In this day and date night for Miriam and Garrick that we knew they were going to have, it is time. It is time. So Garrick offers her a glass of wine to start the evening and explains that they're just going to have a conversation on the couch. They're staying in because he's excited to spend a little alone time with her, get to know her, and love her. Okay. And he's like, and hopefully she'll love me too. He's like, listen, each relationship with every wife will not be the same. Garrick is moving a lot faster than I got the impression Miriam wanted when she was talking to Danielle. They settle in, they sit down, they have some space between them, and Miriam's like, are you comfortable? And he scoots so close to her. He is practically in her lap. And he puts a hand on her knee, and he's like, how was your lunch with Danielle? And then he throws his arm around her shoulders. She kind of like slightly leans forward in that way of either I'm uncomfortable or you're on my hair. And so she says, oh, my hair's in the way. And she moves back, as she sits back to the knee goes the hand. He's like, is this okay? She says yes. Okay, good. So Garrick then says, Miriam is a nice curvy woman. She's full-figured and she knows how to doll herself up. I'll be honest, the outfit she has on, while she looks beautiful, it's pretty toned down. She's got like a sweater and I think leggings or yoga pants. And I know that Garrick talks about women based pretty much entirely on their looks. Because I chastised him at the beginning of this for the way he spoke about Natalia in the bikini. And he goes on to say that some women just don't know how to dress up. Okay, Garrick. Okay. So how about some women just don't prefer to wear makeup? Or they like to dress for comfort in situations. I did my yard work in a dress because it was hot outside, but then I came in, took a shower, and changed into a Naruto t-shirt and sweats after my shower because I was so sore from mowing and shoveling. I wanted to be comfortable. I didn't worry about whether or not I needed to be dolled up for some dude. Also, plenty of men have no idea how to dress, you yourself included, Mr. Merrifield. So, shut your trap. Just my opinion, sir. So Garrick says that he was happy to see Miriam meet all the family, and everyone seems to really like her. And she liked them too. Voiceover Miriam's like, I am not at the stage where I am ready to be so touchy-feely. This is awkward. Garrick was holding her hand, then back to the knee to rub her knee, and Miriam adjusts herself on the couch. And she does one of those, every girl knows this, where we turn to the side and like put our legs up to make some space. Like, we still want to be relatively close to you, but we're also trying to put some space there, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm looking to get to know him on a deeper, more personal level. So he asks about her dreams, and she wants to work in the beauty industry. And Garrick's like, we could team up, huh? Okay, calm down, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, anyway, she says, do you know anything about the beauty industry? And Garrick's like, oh, well, I love designing, and I love being artistic, and I am artistic. Natalia's ring springs to mind and how ugly and in the way that it would be. So he says he wants to design women's clothing. Hands up in the comments whoever would wear clothing that Garrick Merrifield designed, because I'm not doing it. He says that Miriam could be his model. So she says, hey, how would you feel if I wore a hijab? And he reads hijab, like he repeats hijab, and he's like, I would say, where's my beautiful wife at? And try to pull it off. He obviously doesn't understand what the point of a hijab would be, what that means to Miriam. And she's like, well, listen, I do plan to put it on one day. And Garrick's like, I don't think it's bad. So he asks, so she's like, do you not like it? And he's like, no, it's not that I don't like it. I think you're beautiful. Firstly, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if he's confusing the hijab with a niqab. She's not talking about covering her face. She's talking about covering her hair. I'm not sure. And she's like, well, I can take it off in the house. And he's like, oh, well, that's fine then. I don't get it. I honestly don't. I don't know how you live your entire life and have no idea what these things mean. But he's like, listen, the Muslim faith is very important to Miriam. And it's intriguing to him to see what it's about. And he's like, listen, I don't know anything about it. I don't have it. I don't know how to talk about this. And so he explains that, I didn't love God or live for God when I was younger. One could potentially argue that he isn't really doing that right now. Honestly, I digress. He's like, I was bad. I was a playboy. And when asked what it was he did, Garrick says that he started a gang in town. I'm just letting it sink in because, what? He explains he'd make people pay him for protection, and then they show these pictures of young Garrick. Protection from whom, sir? You don't look dangerous. And he's like, I would make people put decals of the gang on their truck. And he's like, we named ourselves the Always Thuggin' Crew. And he was so pleased to be like, it's not a C, it's a K. Like, what? Miriam's like, hearing about this gang is funny because Garrick grew up in this town. He's like the 6th generation. This family's like 6 generations deep here. And she's like, was he just like spoiled and rebelling? Yes, Miriam, that's exactly what it was. Because nobody turns out like Garrick that isn't completely spoiled as a child and never heard the word no, in my opinion. So Garrick's like, well, how are you feeling about me? And she's like, different. She wants to get to know him more, take things really slow and steady. And she admits she doesn't know about living in this town. And he offers her a separate house, but she's like, no, it's about the town. I don't think I want to live here. And Garrick's like, hearing her not want to live in a small town makes me think that she just doesn't know the benefits of living in a small town. And I'll just change her mind. He's like, living in a small town is great, especially for children. And she's like, he thinks that she just doesn't understand all the great qualities of living in a tiny town and the safety and the freedoms that you have. And he asks, would you try and stay here, maybe? And she's like, oh, as long as there's a vacation home I can sneak off to. I get it. Some people are not small town people. They like the hustle and bustle or the ability to have things nearby or just like the diversity of a large city. For me, I'm really content here in a small town. I like that everything is close by. I like that I don't need all of the extra stuff You know, it's really easy. Growing up in a bigger city, it was really easy to be like, oh, I need XYZ thing, and you drive a little bit. Actually, it was about a half hour to get to like the good shopping. And you drive into the good shopping area, and there'd be so much stuff that in the end you would end up spending way more money than you ever needed to. Where living out here, it's a half hour to get to where the stuff is, but at the same time, it's like, do I really need to go drive all the way to the next town over? Actually, it's a couple towns over, just to get XYZ thing, or can I wait? And you don't wind up spending quite as much money. It's like I said, it's a half hour where I grew up, and it's a half hour where I live now. It's just the different things. I do love knowing all of my neighbors and feeling like I can be more active in my kids' schools and education and in my community. The church is just up the road. Like, it's great. I love it. But that's me. Miriam's like, I don't think he took in that I don't want to live here. She's not comfortable. She's like, I think I'm the only brown, tan-skinned person here. And so I can understand that. I can understand that. That would be an uncomfortable feeling. I feel fortunate that the town that we live in actually is, I would say for the size of the town, fairly diverse. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So she wishes them a good night and tells us that she thinks Garrick has a plan for what he wants to create, but she wants to take her time and just really see who they are. Same thing that Jasmine was saying about the Davis family. So Garrick's like, Miriam's kind of standoffish. And I don't know if that's just like a cultural thing, or maybe Garrick, she just said she wanted to take things slowly and you're already like plotting the proposal in your brain. Like, not everyone is Natalia who's content to meet you once in person, and that's fine. He says that that he's going to give her the benefit of the doubt to see if it's just a cultural thing or if there's really a problem between them. But Danielle and Garrick meet in the kitchen to discuss the end of Miriam's visit. And Garrick's like, it was quick but good. Kind of makes me want to go visit her now. And they're getting ready to head to Denver to take Miriam to the airport. And Danielle's like, listen, this trip was a great success. Garrick's like, it went well, but we have some stuff we got to talk out. So Miriam joins them. She tries to feel the baby kick. No kick, unfortunately. But Danielle's like, I feel a lot closer to Miriam than I ever felt to Natalia. And she wishes things were different. But it's going to take Natalia time to realize that they're still open to searching. Garrick says nothing, and yet his face is definitely saying something. So they're sad for Miriam to leave, but she's like, I'll be back. This is just see you later. She's like, maybe I'll even be back when the baby's born. So Garrick's like, we're definitely going to continue courting Miriam just to see if she's supposed to be in the family as a wife. And he's like, I definitely think that she's a potential. Miriam doesn't know what the future is. We'll see. She'd like to keep talking and building, and she'd like them to even meet her family, maybe. So she hugs the boys goodbye, who do that, like, awkward teenager hug. You know what I mean. And Danielle's like, if we continue with Miriam, this is going to upset Natalia. Garrick's like, Natalia's not engaging with the idea of another sister wife. You can't ignore this anymore. Your problems are really coming out, so let's deal with them as a family. And he's worried that Natalia might not be willing to do that. I have thoughts. So it's been 3 weeks since Miriam's visit, and now we are greeted by a crying Danielle. Things are not good with Natalia. No, really. Are you really? She says a lot's happened in the last 6 weeks, and it's only getting worse. We hear a voiceover of her saying that Miriam could be a really good fit for their family. And then Natalia wasn't expecting this to happen and now is very upset. So it seems like Natalia's just not going to work out, guys, because you disrespected her. Danielle's like, God's in control, but I just am praying that it all works out because Danielle does love Natalia. I find that sus, but hey, that's me. So Danielle's like, I just wanted to have a sister and a friend, but everything I say to try and help, it's not working. Nothing's working. Everything I do seems to make it worse. And so black screen of doom pops up. Y'all know what I'm talking about with the TLC black screen of doom. The white text says to us that 3 days later, Natalia sent producers a video message. And she's like, listen, it's been a while since Danielle and Garrick moved back to this U.S., and I've discovered new lies. Like, Garrick invited another woman to stay in their home for a few days. And she says that from the beginning, she shared her dissatisfaction with the idea that Garrick would add someone new while she was not in the home with them. And Garrick had talked to her and assured her that he was not going to do that he would wait for her to arrive. And Garrick began demanding total submission to him, which she does not agree with. And because of that, there is no longer a relationship between them. And she decided she no longer wishes to continue this, and the next day, she officially broke up with Danielle and Garrick. Fair enough. Um, Garrick, there's a difference between biblical submission and total submission. Just take a chance to look that up and figure that one out. Of course, Garrick and Danielle can see no fault in themselves at all. He says things escalated quickly. There was a lot of "how dare you," and we agreed we'd wait. Danielle's like, Natalia was fine initially. I mean, she was fine with us meeting Miriam, or really me meeting Miriam, I guess. And she says, Natalia felt tricked and lied to. You don't say. You didn't tell her that you were inviting Miriam to your home at all. That could be a good reason to feel like you were tricked and lied to. But Garrick's hurt because that's his wife and he loves her and he thinks that she's unwilling to address some of her issues in her heart and mind. I think you're unwilling to address the issues in your heart and mind. I really need Sam to burst in here at this point and be like, I told you so. So Garrick continues to accuse Natalia of not being a team player in the family. He doesn't want to lose a wife, but it's better that it came out now. She's not going to grow up, mature, or change. Not the problem here. He says, compared to her coming to America, he has 2 kids, we gotta deal with it. I literally watched him say that like 4 times. I have no idea what he means. None at all. Is he trying to say that if she had come to America and they had children and then had to deal with this, whatever. Whatever. So Danielle says that even with all that's happened, they're still seeing Miriam. They get along well, they're comfortable. At the end of the day, she says, Natalia's just missing out on family. It's a blessing, and Garrick's a very good husband. Garrick's a very good husband, the way a Black Widow spider isn't poisonous. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. That is my complete opinion. So Garrick's like, we have a strong relationship with God, so the bad things are all used for good. That's not what that means. Okay. But all suffering's good and refining, and it's just transforming him into being perfect. None are perfect. All fall short of the glory of God. That's Romans, I believe. So, anyway. So 2 months later, Danielle and Garrick's baby girl is born, and so I'm really hoping that just takes up a ton of their time. And they keep doing silly things. And now here's the part where I tell you that literally nothing that I said for the last, I think, 12 minutes matters at all. Garrick and Danielle are no longer dating Miriam. They met Lorena, I'm not sure, because it's just written. And the first time they met her, Garrick baptized her and proposed. So now they're working on bringing her to the U.S. on a K-1 visa. I don't know how many of those you can file before the red flags just go off everywhere and immigration kicks down your door and tells you to stop putting in paperwork. But where is she from? You want to guess? Because TLC, even the editor couldn't stop himself from snarking about it. Because at the very bottom it says, from Brazil in big letters. Danielle finally found someone who she thought could be a sister wife that she connected with, and then we had to go back to Brazil anyway. If these two are on this show for another season, and we just watch another season of them speaking in a translator apps, not bothering to learn how to speak to people, faffing about with the immigration system, I might lose it. I might actually scream. Like, for real. This is getting out of control. Those two are out of control. TLC, we do not need the Merrifields on television anymore. We don't. Frankly, we don't need the Merrifields. We don't really need the Ryans. The Davises don't really bother me. Yeah, you can keep the Salahudin family. They were fine. And at this point, as much as it would pain me because this is what I do, I don't really think we need the Browns anymore either. Just saying. Just saying. Frankly, it's all too much. Anyway, so that is how the season ends. The season ends with a lot of silliness. It ended with not even a bang because nobody got a sister wife. Not a single family, yet again, achieved anything on this show. I'm telling you, the next season just better say, seeking sister wife, wasting your time. Like, I'm just, oh, goodness. Anyway, so that's how that went. So, A couple of real quick things. If you made it this far, great. I did mention before that maybe I would try to do a live stream while I was doing like one of my big baking days. Brought it up to husband. He thought that maybe on his next long stretch or one of the ones upcoming that we could potentially work that out where, you know, he'd kind of keep the kids out of the kitchen and I could live stream, you know, from my cell phone and show you guys all the things that I'm baking or, you know, just give you some ideas of different things. Because when I do my baking for a week, usually, it is a couple of loaves of bread, Pop-Tarts, usually some type of snacky thing, whether that's like the homemade Oreos that I did, or I've been doing Rice Krispie treats, pretzels. I make homemade pretzels, all that kind of stuff. So if we can make it work, I will definitely let you guys know well in advance of when it's going to be so that we can kind of figure out a time that works best for our community. Like I'll put up a community tab post and we can kind of figure out times because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I can pretty much do whenever. But y'all have lives. So if I want you guys to be able to hang out, you gotta be here, right? Second thing, I lost the comment. I was gonna go answer you back. Whoever asked me, have I seen Cells at Work? I've seen 2 episodes of it, but not at the same time. But let me tell you, y'all, I mentioned that husband had me watching Naruto, which is like his favorite anime ever. I was a Sailor Moon girly. But y'all, there was one that just for whatever reason I was like, oh no, this is good. I'm going to watch this, called Fruits Basket. It's the dumbest name. It is the dumbest name. Great anime. So if you're into anime and you're looking for something, Fruits Basket was fantastic. I don't think I watched the newest adaptation. I think I watched the one right before that. I don't know. And then I had something else, but I've already forgotten it because I'm losing my marbles. I don't remember what the third thing was. So I guess that's where we're at. I have a couple more Sister Wives notes, scripts, whatever you want to call them, ready to go. So I'm going to get a couple more of those out. I'm going to try to get back to My 5 Wives now that Seeking Sister Wives over, because with the Seeking Sister Wife being long, and then My 5 Wives is long, and then Sister Wives right now are like 20-minute episodes, so they're very easy to like take the notes, very condensed. I can do a lot of those in a short period of time. It was just sort of easier to be like, okay, we'll bring back My 5 Wives in a little bit. So I'll get those going again here pretty quick. And then, y'all, while we're kind of on a break from any new episodes of Sister Wives for the summer, obviously we're not getting any more of My 5 Wives. That's way over. And we don't have any Seeking Sister Wife. Give me suggestions. What do you want to see? What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about, older episodes of something? Like I know, they did that spin-off of Seeking Brother Husband. I never watched it. If we want to talk about that, we can talk about that. If there's a different reality TV show, leave them in the comments. Whoever, do it this way. If somebody leaves a specific show and you agree, just leave a like. Don't on their comment so that I can kind of tally up a little bit easier that way. I mean, if you leave a second comment, that's fine too, whatever. But I just kind of want to tally it up pretty easily and figure out where we're at. Because I'm open to picking up whatever we want to talk about. I'm open to trying new things. If we try one episode of something and y'all hate it, we just won't watch it again. So I'm willing to let you guys dictate the content here because, frankly, I kind of need to find new fun things to watch. I've been watching reruns of The Big Bang Theory and Friends because I don't know what to watch. I'm overwhelmed with choice. I don't do great with choice. I'm too overwhelmed with choice. You tell me what to try, okay? All right, fantastic. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.